Welcome back to another episode of the I'm Not a Hater podcast. Um, this is going to be a probably slightly controversial episode due to the fact that we're talking about my real job, what I do for a living throughout the day. Um, I probably talked about my job in episode 2 of the do's and don'ts episode for the school year. So this one is gonna just expound on what I actually do throughout the school day. I've done it all in the school system. I've been a one-to-one para. I've been a classroom para. I've been a substitute teacher. I've done everything. But the most challenging job that I've had over that time is being an ISS. I guess you could say ISS teacher. So these are my thoughts about it. You know how I feel. Once again, the disclaimer is basically these are my thoughts, how I feel about it. You know, we'll just have a little fun with it, get some laughs out of it, learn something about you know how I feel about it. But it's not to you know belittle or make light of the job. It's just to explain it for people who may not understand it, right? So we'll get right into it. So remember, in the do's and don'ts episode, I mentioned most kids behave differently once you drop them off at school. So when they start to behave differently, it's my job to deal with them. When they get totally out of control or disrespectful, and let me tell you, it's not the easiest thing to do, right? You constantly get dysregulated kids who are angry and upset, and I constantly have to hear the stories of how the teacher did something to them, and half the time, truthfully, I'm not even listening because it's mainly all lies, right? And then I get angry administration, right? They walking in, they're upset because the school day isn't going as they planned. So now they're pissing off the students even more. And guess who gets stuck with them as they're angry and dysregulated? Me. And I get all sorts. I get male, female, is all types of students that come there. Young, old, it don't matter. I get them all. They all angry. They're all, to the roof angry, okay? They got ISS for the rest of the day. Now they're upset, you know? Um, but my all-time favorite student is the ones that are so irate, right? They feel like they need a break. I get about 5 or 6 of these a day. So now they throw them inside the ISS room. Now, mind you, I didn't even go into depth about the ISS room, right? So it's usually not a huge space, or in most cases, if it is a huge space, that just means they want to throw a bunch of kids in there, right? So my all-time favorite is the kids that like super irate, right? They're dysregulated to the thousandth degree, and now they throw them in there for some reason. And now I become like a part-time therapist. I'm rocking them back and forth. And guess what? That ain't part of my job. It ain't in the job description. Like, it just isn't. But I end up having to deal with them too because at that point there's nobody else left that wants to deal with them. So why not bring them to Mr. Brown? All the kids love Mr. Brown anyway. And with that, right? So then there's like parts that I enjoy. Like I do enjoy the relationship building aspect of it all. And that's probably why the adults sometimes don't like me because of my close relationship with the kids. But it's not my fault. I realized something early on working in these type of environments, like the urban school setting. Most times as a male, you're the only positive male influence that they see. So it's a huge responsibility and a major one to have to be able to show these students a positive role model and someone that they can come to if they need to vent or whatever. And I would say for the people that don't like it or, they don't like me doing it with the students at that point, maybe if you tried to build a relationship with them, maybe they might like you a little bit. Hey, give it a shot. You never know. ISS is not for the weak. You have to come in like positive because if you come in at the point where you feel like, you just gonna come in and be mean to them, they're gonna give it right back to you, and that's gonna make your job increasingly frustrating. Okay. Um, and like I definitely try to be positive at all times, but there's some points in times where I just can't do it. Um, when the kids just aren't listening to you, they just are not following um what you want them to do direction wise. Like that does get under my skin, and that's when I start yelling, and that's when they see a different side of me. I don't like to display that side often, but it sometimes it happens, right? You don't want it to happen, but sometimes it does. You try for it to not be that way, but again, you're human, right? I'm human, so I'm gonna display some emotion sometimes. Um, I do try to make it less of a prison in terms of ISS. Like they do try to say, like, make it like a jail. I do try to make it less of a prison. I try to give the students an outlet, you know, for somebody to like hear their problems, right? Because for a lot of them, it's the only place that somebody is gonna listen to them. They don't have somebody listening to them at home. Um, they're not trustworthy of many people. So if they open up to me, that means on some level they trust me with what they're saying. Um, and sometimes they get very deep into their life story and things like that. So I hold it like a precious honor that they felt enough, or felt enough of me to share that with me. Um, and I take it a huge responsibility to hold those things um tight to the chest, the things that they've told me over the years, right? Because they trusted me to do so. Um, you know, outside of yelling at the knuckleheads, right, that I deal with on a daily basis, most of the students would probably tell you that I'm great or that they love me, right? Of course, I have a couple or a few hater students, right, that'll say, you know, whatever about me, but it's cool. I'm not concerned with that. Um, and I'm not your usual ISS teacher. I'm not nasty and angry every day. There's some days where I'm not in the mood for it, but hey, that comes with the territory. But I like to think that they know Mr. Brown cares about them, right? Outside of yelling at them about the rules they break in school, because it's really about getting them ready for the future and whatever they choose to do. I definitely try to do that on a daily basis too. Um, you know, I just try to go the extra mile to show them that, I really care. Um, but truthfully, if everybody cared and showed them a little grace sometimes, my job probably wouldn't exist because the kids wouldn't be angry. Some people show up, make them mad, set them off, and then boom, brown you in action. Um, and that's just the way it goes, Some days are better than others. I've had days where, you know, I got one kid all day. I've had days where I got 10 kids. It's really all in how the day starts. If the day starts off on a good note and I'm able to, get to those kids and check in with them and just see how they're doing on a whole, then I'll probably have a good day. If it's a day where, they come in hot off the bus and you had 3 fights and uh, a student disrespect a teacher at 8:30 in the morning, then I know I'm gonna have a rough day. And when I get to having a rough day, man, watch out. The ISS room gonna be on fire, cause I'm definitely gonna be shooting some darts and throwing some tough love at them. But I'm not. I don't go overboard with it. I never want nobody to feel like I'm disrespecting their child, because my thought process always goes back to my own kids. I don't want anybody disrespecting my own kids, so I try to show the kids as much respect as possible. And so I'll never, even though when I'm yelling at them, like, I still have that love factor behind me, because I want them to know that I still care. Like, even though you making stupid mistakes at that time, like, I still care about you. I still want you to be the best student that you could be, even though I'm upset with you at that point, because you're in ISS for maybe the second, third time this week, and you don't have to be. Like, if you just go to class and do what you're supposed to do, and
even if you have to limit your interaction with the teacher, and I tell my students this all the time, if you have to limit your interaction with the teacher to just, I get the work from you and I turn it back in, and that be that, then let it just be that. Like, you don't have to go above and beyond to make them feel like, you know, you're the best student in the world. If you just do your work and get good grades, you don't have to be always friendly with them. It's when you go overboard and start disrespecting them and they feel like they have to get back at you, it creates a whole situation where I have to then get involved, right? Because you're going to get sent to me. And now I got to hear your sob story. Then they show up with the work for you. And I'm talking to the kids, and they probably not going to ever watch this, but they show up with the work and they're still angry, so they giving you the dirty look. And now I'm in the middle of a teacher student battle that I didn't sign up for, but here I am. And now, I gotta handle it. I spend a lot of my day de-escalating students, and dealing with, like I said, angry teachers, angry admin, but it's part of course, right? And I've had people talk crazy about me. It's happened. Everything that could happen as an ISS teacher has happened to me. But I brush it off and just keep stepping daily, right? Because it's not about me. Ultimately, it's about the kids, and that's what I have to just keep remembering, even when I get upset, right? Because I have feelings too, right? I'm not just some robot that's like void of feeling. So when people do say stuff about me and I do hear it, or I find out about it or whatever through third party or whatever the case is, right? Or the students may tell me what the teachers have said. Yes, the students do come to me and tell me what the teachers are saying about me. So even if you think you said it to yourself, they know, and they do let me know what's being said. And it's cool. Again, like I said, I have feelings, but for the betterment of the kids, I let it slide. Because after I leave the job, I'm not worried about you or what you had to say. And that's just facts. The ISS teacher job is not easy, and I've been saying that for years. But I keep coming back and I keep doing it because I feel like at some point, like some of the students, I really get through to them, and I enjoy that piece, right? I enjoy being able to build the relationships with most of them. The ones that give you the toughest time are the ones that need the most love, and that's what I've discovered over the years too. They just need, support. They need more than to be yelled at about a uniform or, classwork or, silly stuff like that. Like, yes, they get in trouble, and I totally understand that. And I'm not pacifying the fact that they get in trouble, but like I said in the earlier episode, there are some external things that are going on that sometimes we're not privy to. And then when we find out, we try to correct our mistakes. But if we just, give them that love, that extra love from the beginning, my classroom would be empty. I swear to you. I know, people going to push back and be like, well, I can't love on everybody. Yes, you can. You can give a little bit of love at each point to everybody. And that's been my biggest thing. Like I said, I have to yell at them because there are certain rules and regulations that I have to uphold, like keeping a quiet classroom while they're in there. And, and like I said, sometimes it's difficult for me because I'm not a natural yeller. I'm more of a laid back type of person. But once I'm in that mode, I'm yelling for 7-8 hours a day. And again, like I said, that's not normal for me, but it has to be done because of the nature of the job. But in between that, I do offer wisdom, or my version of wisdom, for them. Try to apply it to their lives so that they can make better decisions, basically. Like I said, it's challenging because of circumstances that sometimes are out of my control. But, overall, like, I enjoy it. Like I said, the knuckleheads, man, they gonna always be there. But I try to give each student, that love, that care that they don't normally receive. And that's like the biggest part for me. That's the part that keeps me going every single day, that I have that chance to be a positive male influence for some of these young gentlemen and some of these young ladies, because a lot of these students, man, they don't have fathers in the home. And so when I get to them or they come to me, we talk. If it's allowed, right? We talk, we have that conversation, we find out what's going on, and I try to help them the best way that I can, or point them in the right directions so that they can make better choices and they don't have to come back to ISS. That's also the worst part, when you get the ones who are repeat offenders, right? You see them on Monday, then you see them on Wednesday, then you see them on Thursday, and you see them like four times that week, man. And you like, well, what is going on? And then you find out, it's something at home that's happening. And it's like, well, man, who did you tell? Nobody. Okay, so let's do this. Let's plan this out. And then you try to work on different things and different goals and things that they can do. And it's just one of those things, man. That kind of can help them be better. And that's always the end goal, right? They may come to ISS for one thing, but they should leave better than what they came, right? So my job is to basically rehabilitate them and send them back into society. It sounds really crazy when you think about it like that, because it's kind of like a rehab center or jail type. I'm getting them ready to go back into society. Ultimately, I'm getting them ready to go into the world. And that's the overall goal, is for these students, when they leave me and they leave our school, that they be better off and better citizens for the future, because these are going to be the people that are entering the workforce one day, and you truthfully don't want them to be anything other than prepared for it. So if I gotta give them tough love at times, or give them fatherly advice, or whatever you want to call it, like, I'll gladly do that over yelling at them all day. Because when I say I had people talk about me in my style and my tactics, they've said it. Like, this one lady said I ain't have no backbone when it came to the kids, and I'm like, what? Like, that's wild. That's crazy. No, I'm not yelling at them all day, and my style may be not what you like, but I can guarantee you that they like me, and it's not a competition, but they like me better than they like you. I'm just keeping it a buck. I wasn't going to do this episode because I don't want to ruffle no feathers, and I don't want nobody, feeling like, ooh, he talking crazy, he talking reckless on this podcast. But it does belong to me, and I can say what I want to say. It is my freedom of speech right. I'm not criticizing anybody. I'm just speaking facts about what I do on a daily basis. If you don't like it, turn it off. It's just that simple. I'm keeping it real with y'all. But I'm keeping it real about my job and the way that these kids are sometimes fairly or unfairly treated. It's just all facts, man. I think about this stuff on a daily basis. I promise you, I'm sitting at my desk like, sometimes this is inhumane what they're doing. Like, parents, I want y'all to like really, really, really do what y'all need to do. Stay on top of, stay on top of the school, man. I'm an employee. I work there, but stay on top of the schools. Sometimes they do your kids dirty, and y'all just go along with it because, oh, whatever. But no, don't do it, oh, whatever. Like, find out what's going on. Find out about some of these teachers. Find out. Do your diligence, man. Seriously, it will help you in the end. It will help you to help your child. And when your child come home and tell you something happened, man, believe them. Call. Find out what's going on. Do not let it go by without you doing some investigative work. Now, if you find out that, yes, your kid did do what they said, then okay, deal with it then. But do not, I repeat, do not just let them tell you anything. Because they will if you do. And they know who they can get away with it and who they can't. If you challenge them and force them to show you evidence of what's happening, you painting them in the corner they don't want to be in. And I'm telling you this from experience. I've seen it. Okay? So do your homework, parents. I'm giving y'all a heads up. Do your homework. Do not just let them tell you whatever is happening. You find out. You ask your kids. You ask their friends. Ask whoever you got to ask. Just do it, okay? Trust me on this one. Once again, like I said, I'm just keeping it real. It's just an honest take from me. I'm going to sign off before I say way too much. I think I said enough. Once again, this your kid's favorite ISS teacher, Mr. Brown. I'm not a hater. This the Not a Hater podcast, letting you know my real job and how I do stuff on a daily basis. It may not be orthodox. It may be unorthodox, but it works. It gets results. Trust me on this one. Peace and love. I'll see y'all in the next episode.